Attention everyone, court is now in session, the Honorable Judge Sage presiding. That's right, we are going to be going back into r/AITA and having some fun with with a few of the top posts of this week. Now, as I've said before, I really hope you guys are enjoying the content. I'm getting a huge kick out of it, and I really hope you guys are as well. Plus, it gives me a chance to kind of experiment with some other types of builds that I wouldn't normally use because I'm generally running retro floor plan, and I'm noticing some things that do and don't work with that idea. But that's neither here nor there. Right now, let's just roll soundtrack choice. Okay, we got jazz soundtrack second time in a row. So we all know what happens if we get it a third time in a row. So let's quickly put together a build. How about we go with a nice blood orange signature spam. And if we're going to be doing signature spam, then we should be doing things that get us our signature nice and fast. Twin turbines, I've noticed, does a good job at that. Now, what do we want to use as our signature? There's lots of really good signatures out there, and sometimes it's hard to know which one you should use. Like, maybe we should make our signature... Yeah, that one. And I may run retro floor plan with this one anyway, just because... Well, you know what? We'll do Thunderline again, and as far as our... There we go. That looks like a decent build to me. And we're gonna lean hard into the signature because, frankly, Chaotic Buster is amazing. And yeah, there we go. So as soon as we get the floor plan and get ourselves set up, we will be good to go. But of course, that's the part that's going to take the longest because F me. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel, first of all, welcome. I appreciate having you here. Second of all, I'm not generally worried about my language affecting my monetization. At this moment in time, my channel is not monetized. I've been doing this for a while, so I look forward to a time when I can. But like, even at that point, I think it's still worth saying I don't want to censor my language because that's not what YouTube was built upon. YouTube was built upon the idea of broadcasting yourself. And if yourself curses like a sailor, well then, hey. But I mean, generally you know what you're getting into when you're watching a particular content creator. Some creators just have different ways of doing things. And that should be a-okay. But as we all know, some people are just big old gigantic babies and they can't stand the idea of anything being more mature than something meant for fourth graders. Not calling anyone out specifically, but, you know, if you're a YouTube exec, you know who you are. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into our first story. This looks like a pretty popular story for this week. It's brought to us from Piano Throwaway, and the title is, Am I the Asshole for Refusing to Forgive My Dad for Breaking Our Deal? Alright, this is a long one. Alright, strap in. This is gonna be good. When I, 17 male, was 8, my parents bought me a piano and signed me up for lessons. I was super excited because I love music. OP and I have something in common. Over time, I kind of became known as the piano guy at school. I play at school concerts, accompany the school jazz choir, and play once a week for the residents at a couple of retirement homes in our town. When I was 15, I started to talk about quitting lessons, and my parents quickly tried to guilt me out of it. I told them I wanted to try other things, and that between piano and studying, I didn't have much time left for other extracurriculars. My dad proposed a deal. If I kept playing and taking lessons until I reached level 10 RCM, Royal Conservatory of Music, good to know, and continued to keep my grades up at school, he would buy me a new car of my choice. I jumped at it and we shook hands on the deal. I should explain that my family is well off financially. I have a very privileged life, but I wouldn't say I've been spoiled. If I ever want a luxury item like a new phone or game console, I have to buy it myself with money I've saved from summer and after-school jobs. I should also explain that my dad's big on loopholes. I kind of already see where this is going. When we compete, he always finds a way to win, and when I do, it doesn't count because of some loophole. It drives me nuts, but he thinks it's hilarious. He sounds like a real piece of work. Whenever I complain about him not playing fair, his answer is always the same. Life isn't fair. It's not, but you don't have to compound on that by being an economy-sized douche. Sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent. So, because of our deal, I kept up with my lessons. I spent about 1 to 2 hours a day on piano while keeping my grades up. Last summer, I took my level 9 RCM exams and passed, fulfilling my part of the deal. I told my dad I had chosen the BMW X5 plug-in hybrid SUV. A couple of months ago, on my birthday, I came downstairs for breakfast and my dad told me there was a surprise waiting for me in the garage. I ran out, and sitting in the middle of the floor was a 1/24th scale toy BMW X5. My dad burst out laughing and said, "A deal's a deal, so as promised, here's your brand new BMW." Oh my god, fuck this dude. My heart absolutely broke, I understand. I asked if he was being serious, and he said I couldn't seriously have expected him to buy a 17-year-old a real brand new BMW, and that we could discuss getting me a reasonably priced used car. I said we had a deal, and I fulfilled my end of it. He said he did too, since I never said that the car had to be full-size and drivable. I said he wasn't being fair. His response? Everybody say it with me now. Life isn't fair. Ever since this happened, I've been distant with my dad. I honestly feel like he betrayed my trust and that he deliberately made a fool out of me. He keeps bringing up the idea of a used car, but I told him I'm not interested, which I admit is kind of petty. I think you're allowed to be petty in this particular instance. I have enough money saved that I can buy a cheap used car myself, and I just feel like if I accept one from him now, it's like saying that breaking his promise didn't matter and that he didn't do anything wrong. Am I the asshole? I think the top comment is going to be something that I'll end up agreeing with. Not the asshole. Someday when he wants to come home for the holidays, or when he wants you to come home for the holidays, send a framed photo he can set at the table. There, you are home. You didn't tell him you'd be there in person. Life's not fair, Dad. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get started on the run while I give my opinion on this. My opinion, as I'm sure you can guess, is that the father is a complete total douchebag, and he deserves to be whatever estrangement he ends up getting from his son, because you, sir, knew what exactly the deal was all about, but you proceeded to act like a complete genius and screw your son over and completely broke your boat. Oh, that was not good. Like, seriously, how are you gonna pull a move like that and just be like, "Oh, lol, it's just a prank, bro"? Like, I know that's not what he said, but I mean, obviously that's the context of speaking. That kind of like, "Oh, life's not fair, so here it is, can't you take a prank, bro?" So, yeah, obviously I am not on the dad's side. he's acting like a petulant fucking child, and he needs to seriously get over this whole life's not fair, I'm gonna screw you over mentality, because that is just not gonna get you anywhere. I mean, I guess I can't say it won't get you anywhere in life, because you've obviously gotten somewhere. But, god damn. No, you completely broke your end of the bargain. You made your son continue to do something that he was losing interest in because you no longer had time for any other activities. He was being pushed, he worked hard, he passed. He passed his exam and totally went through on or covered on his end of the bargain. Now you're treating it like, oh, who cares? Life's not fair. You're gonna do what I say because loopholes. Like, is there? Like, if there were an award for douchebag of the universe, it would go to John Edwards first of all, but this guy seems like he's, you know, making a good argument. Alright, wait a minute, why don't I just take the portal back over here? There we go. And that brings up the question of, have any of you been in that position where you made a promise to someone, you fulfilled your end of the bargain, and then they're like, I don't feel like fulfilling my end of the bargain, so here's a prank. Yeah, if you can't tell already, I don't take this father very seriously. Like, I can't imagine breaking someone's heart like that by not fulfilling a promise that I had made. And if you're financially well off and you can afford to, you know, give someone a leg up in life, why would you not do it? Oh yeah, because of completely rampant and unchecked greed. I almost forgot what country I'm living in. You gonna die already? And that, I think, is the saddest part about all of this, is that it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to treat people in your life like that. Like, why didn't you just come right out and directly say that you weren't sure about buying a brand new BMW for someone under those circumstances, instead of making it seem like everything's fine, and then just treating your son like the butt of a joke. And I think the overall moral of the story here is pretty simple. Don't make promises that you can't keep. Look at that, 2 signature chaotic busters in one room. I feel powerful. And I see no reason not to grab both of those. Now we just need to look for new Arcana to give ourselves more combat options. Ugh, that story just... I mean, it's supposed to make you mad. There's no reason why why someone should act like that. And I sincerely hope that none of you have ever been pushed into that trap before. Don't let people in your life treat you like that. If they're going to treat you like that, then they're probably not really good friends. And if it's your family treating you like that, go out and find your own family. There is nothing in this world saying that you can't choose the people that you want to spend time around. Many of the people I know in my life had to go out and choose their own family, and I'm not even necessarily talking about people who are related to me, I'm just saying in general. I've known a lot of people that have gone out and chosen their own family. In the end, you choose who you want to be in your life, and I hope OP just jumps ship and leaves this father to deal with his own nasty bullshit. So that's story number 1. Quite a juicy start. Alright, story number 2. Alright, this is going to be interesting. Story number 2 of the week is brought to us from Subject Hospital 493, and it's titled, Am I the Asshole for Telling My Son he has to go to university, get a job, or get out? This sounds harsh, but let's see where we're going with this. This is also a long one, so again, strap in. My wife and I have 3 children. They are 17, 15, and 10. My oldest has no intention to do anything after high school, at least none he has made clear to us. So I gave him the same ultimatum my parents gave to me. Either go to university, get a job, or get the fuck out. It's abbreviated GTFO here, but we all know what that means. I chose to travel the world for 2 years. I had a lot of sailing experience, and my father had a lot of friends in that community, so I was able to sail around the world earning money and working my ass off. It wasn't a 2-year vacation. My family is well off, and I could have chosen an idle life, but I knew I would be a disappointment if I chose that, so when I got back, I enrolled in university and eventually went to work for the family business. My wife thinks that I'm being unfair to our poor baby boy throwing him out into the world. I'm not. We have the money to pay for his university. We have the money for all 3 kids. Honestly, good for you, you made it in life. My middle child will probably end up with a good chunk of it in her pocket. She's on track for an academic as well as a golf scholarship. My 10-year-old is 10, and who knows what he's going to do. But he knows the plan. We have not been secretive about this rule. My wife and I agreed that we would raise productive members of society before we got engaged. Her and my son think I'm being cruel to expect him to fend for himself at 18. I have offered him multiple opportunities to do other things. He has no interest in anything beyond his computer. I mean, come on, some of us make a really good living on our computer. I'm not yet, but, only time will tell. I'm at a loss. I don't think I'm wrong for expecting an adult to adult. My parents have already told him that they will not be giving him any money if he isn't in school or working. My wife is threatening to use her salary to support him. I don't have any say in that. I won't actually kick him out of the house, but I will stop paying his bills and cut off our grocery budget by 20%. If she wants to work so he doesn't have to, there's nothing I can do about that. So, the fact of the matter is, it's harsh, but at the same time, I'm also seeing that, yeah, OP has the money to afford to send him to school. So, I mean, dude, it's a free education. I'm sorry that it's not a life of sitting around on your computer and just playing games. But let's be fair, not all of us can have that as our lives. And I think that's kind of the ultimate curse for having a essentially wealthy lifestyle is that the people around you feel as though they don't have to. They think that just because you have money, you don't have to do anything but sit there and collect fucking dividends. And for some people that is true, let's not lie. But I also think that it's a little shitty expecting to have your lifestyle paid for you just because you don't feel like it. I don't want to go out and work. I don't want to go to school. Like, you're getting a free education. You don't have to do anything for it. You have the privilege of being able to go to school without having debt and student loans thrown back in your face. Like, even if it doesn't end up improving my position in life, I would do it just because I would appreciate being educated in something. But I live in America, and in America, you don't get any sort of bonus or compensation for trying to be a good person. I wish I didn't have to put it like that, but that seems to be the lesson that we've all been supposedly learning about life in America. But I'm not going to get in. I'm not going to get in on that. Here we go. This will help offset the penalty to cooldown time. Though I'm thinking I may not be able to afford to purchase an Arcana to give to Dr. Song, but somehow I think that'll be okay. Oh, you jerk. Get back here. So I feel as though this is going to be a divisive one because, yeah, the parents are well off and they can afford to send all of their kids to college, and good for them. But I also understand it from the other point of view. It's like I get that it seems like they're punishing their son for whatever, but I really kind of disagree. Especially since they've said that that they can support him, but he just doesn't want that for some reason. Like, I don't understand. Perfect time, Crystal. Let's go. Like, again, if you had, look at it from your perspective. If you had the opportunity to have your secondary education paid for you, wouldn't you take it? And it's not like you have to devote yourself to like a 4, 6, or 8-year degree. They just said so long as you're going to, well, they said university, but I mean that's pretty much just, secondary education. Like, you could go to a vocational school if you wanted. All they said was you had to be in university, which is just college in America. Like, there's all sorts of things I would learn to do. I would, like, what I'm really interested in learning is computer engineering, because I like working with technology. And then I may even secondary in Japanese language, because I just have an overall interest in Japanese language and culture. Which I know someone out there is going to hear that and go, "Oh my god, what an insufferable weeb." To which I say, get fucked and grow up. Oh, hello. So, do I understand why someone would say that OP is the asshole? Sure. But I just personally think that since he's flat out saying, "Hey, I'm offering you the chance to get out there and build yourself up," if the son is actually actively saying nah, then yeah, he's the asshole. The son, not OP. Like, I'm sorry, that's a golden opportunity, my boy. You should take that. And besides, it's not like if you're going to school or working, you can't have your hobbies. Like, I just don't understand his point of view here. I'm really not sure I get it. Maybe you guys have a slightly more understanding as to why he thinks he doesn't have to do anything to, maintain a living. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing it. Like, even looking outside of the whole productive member of society part, which, to be fair, there's a little bit of contention there, since being a productive member of society seems to also entail giving up. Well, not giving up, but just being complacent in the system that we're all kind of stuck being a part of. Like, I get it. I get why there might be a little bit of disdain for that, but I don't think it's an excuse to just be like, nah, I'm not going to do anything. Seriously, if you have the opportunity to go to school for something you have an interest in, take it. Or even if you just decide you want to get a job, I mean, that's fine. I get the feeling that OP's son is one of those people that thinks that the working class are just a bunch of schlubs somehow. That was a beautiful shoe speed run. Oh, that was a mess. Plus, doing that will also help that out. So, also I'm realizing that I'm forgetting to do a third story. I'm really digging this run. But this is Judgment, so we should move on to a third story. But yeah, second story, OP is not the asshole, his son is a lazy prick. And now we move on to story number 3. Ooh, I'm gonna do this one because I think it goes very well with the kind of theme of the episode, which is about, kind of crappy family members. And this one is brought to us from Sis Tat Drama 96, and it's titled, Am I the Asshole for Calling My Sister Cruel for Her Tattoo Idea? Sis is 28. I'm 26 male. My sis, N, I don't know how I feel about just using a single letter for someone's identity, so we'll say Natalie, has always had a strained relationship with our parents, especially my mom. I am clearly not privy to the reasons why things are fine with me and my parents. When Natalie went to college, she met her creative writing professor as a freshman, and they got close immediately. They would do a lot together and work closely on a few different writing projects. Natalie never specifically said this, but it was obvious to anyone who saw them interact that they had a substitute mother-daughter type relationship, which hurt my mom a lot to see. I always thought she'd grow out of it, or that the professor would move on, but 10 years later and they were still very close. About a month ago, the professor died unexpectedly, and it devastated Natalie. She was really depressed over the holidays, which of course was all in front of my mom and was a difficult reminder that Natalie loved the professor as a mother, way more than she ever loved my mom as a mother. She still talks to my parents and stuff, and they don't fight or anything, but Natalie is very distant and doesn't tell them anything about her life beyond the bare minimum. My mom tried to comfort Natalie, but Natalie was doing her distant thing and didn't want comfort. Something unfortunate that happened to Natalie is that when she got the call that she died, she was brewing tea, and in the shock of the news, she spilled boiling water on her arm, which burned her kind of badly on her wrist. I think the burn was like on the borderline of 2nd and 3rd degree. Oof, that's rough, I'm sorry. And definitely still looked pretty rough during the holidays. Natalie said it was especially hard because in addition to the physical pain, every time she looks at it, she is reminded of the moment she found out the professor died, which I totally get. I was on FaceTime with Natalie, and she said she talked to her tattoo artist, who said that the burn should be able to heal well enough to get a tattoo over it. Natalie then excitedly told me about her idea, which is a type of flower that the professor gave her a bouquet of for her undergrad graduation. My mom was so embarrassed that day because she didn't get N flowers, but the professor did, and Natalie was parading them around so happy, and it was a reminder of their connection. I guess Natalie and the professor exchanged these flowers for every special occasion, like birthdays, etc. So now she wants to get a decent-sized tattoo in a highly visible spot of something that will remind everyone of the professor. I told Natalie that this seemed really cruel to my mom, who already feels cast aside and like she's in exile from Natalie, and that's without the constant, permanent reminder. Natalie kind of scoffed and said, I can't believe you think you have the right to tell me not to do this. Called me an ass and hung up and is still not talking to me except for a very brief text saying congrats for a promotion I just got. My parents aren't commenting. My dad said I should have kept quiet even though he agrees, and my mom made no comment, but seems grateful I stood up for her. I feel like I was just being protective of my mom, but am I the asshole? Okay, so now that we've gotten the story out of the way, my very first thought on this is, yeah, kinda. I mean, first of all, you really do have no right to tell your sister to not do that. But second of all, like, do I understand that, like, angle of, oh, I just want to, I'm just trying to stand up for my mom and her feelings. Okay, cool, I get that. I understand it even. That doesn't mean you're right. And obviously there's parts of what's going on there that we're not getting. So, like, we're not getting the full extent of what Natalie, or they say N in the post, but I'm Natalie. Like, there's obvious things that we're not getting about Natalie and her relationship with her mother. But I don't really see where any of that matters, because as I said earlier, you should be allowed to pick and choose who you want as family. There's two types of family: the family that you're born into, and the family that you choose for yourself. And we all have the family that we've chosen for ourselves. Every single one of us. You know, the people that are close to us have our back and understand what's going on. So the sheer idea that he's saying, "Oh, I don't think you should do that," and yeah, you can voice your opinion, but don't always expect it to go over well. Natalie has the right to decide what she wants to do in commemoration of her professor, and with her own body in general. It is not for you to be saying anything, sir. I must have already picked one. Oh yeah, glass cannon. Here. These bosses are just melting. But there's also another theory I'm getting at here, which is, and I'm not 100% sure about this, and this is pure speculation, so definitely don't take this as any sort of gospel or anything like that. Oh crap, I accidentally hammered the second piece. But does it seem, is it just me, or does it seem like the OP is the golden child of the story? Like, it seems like, and again, this is pure speculation. I do not have any facts on this. This is just a feeling. But it seems like our OP here is the one that is essentially favored by the family. And maybe that's why Natalie never felt very. Maybe that's why Natalie always felt really distant from their parents. Like, I have nothing backing that up. Let's be fair. But it seems like that might be what we're dealing with. But I'm curious as to what you guys think on that particular story. I may not have proof, but that's definitely what it feels like. And if that's the case, then I definitely understand why there was a bit of a blow up between Natalie and her brother, the OP here. And like I said, it fits right into our theme of, choosing your own family and, kind of crappy family members. And I sincerely hope you guys don't have any really awful family members like that in and amongst the proverbial ranks. if you do, I feel sorry for you, and I hope that you either are finding a way to deal with it or have already dealt with it. I know a lot of people who have strained relationships with their blood relatives. And I say the same thing to everyone, which is don't let that stop you. If you have really bad family members, then just remember that old saying that blood is thicker than water. That's not entirely true. You have every right and ability to choose who you want in your life, and I would not let anyone tell you otherwise. So yeah, I think OP here is definitely the asshole. Leave Natalie alone, let her get the tattoo that I think would be a beautiful memorial of her time with her favorite professor, and let it go. Don't be that kind of person just because you have a not strained relationship with your mother. So, very curious if you guys agree, if you disagree. Obviously, when I do episodes like this, I'm always very interested in having a conversation about it. So, if you guys have thoughts, by all means, share them. I am very interested in hearing what you have to say. All right. So this has been a blast of a run, I've got to say. It ended up being a good deal more powerful than I thought it would be, thanks to Strongman's Hammer, Merchant's Cart, Curse Eater's Watch, and the Glass Cannon. Like, this has really been a powerful run, and I'm happy I got to do it. And I'm happy I got to read some wonderful AITA posts on top of it as well. The power. The unmitigated power. Alright, and I will leave the build up for you guys to check out. If you want to try this build out, like, seriously, this was really powerful and it was a lot of fun to play. So by all means, give this one a shot. I really feel like you guys would get a kick out of this one. And if you got a kick out of the stories, remember, I will have timestamps and links to all three in the description below. I very much thank you for coming to check out my work and hope you're having a really good time with my channel. If you have suggestions or ideas, by all means, feel free to send them my way. I'm always looking at your suggestions and comments and look forward to hearing what you have to say. So like I said, I'll leave the run up for just a little bit longer for you guys to view. I thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I will be seeing you. Say goodbye to the birds, too. Bye, birds!